Hello, and welcome back to part 7 of the D7 build. Today we're actually going to start working on the nacelles. Getting these nacelles all light blocked. Actually doing the pieces of tape that I want to put in there so that I can actually have the light LEDs that are going to be inside the nacelles glow through the actual plastic. This is something I'm hoping is going to work. It's worked on a lot of other things, but it's always iffy if it's going to actually work and look nice and brilliant but not overly bright. So let's get started. Well, okay, I got the impulse assembly all puttied up. Got these edges all puttied up. There's a pretty good seams there and some pretty good seams right across here. And there was a little nick in that corner there, little ones there. Got, like I think I showed before, I got the that grill, that photo etch grill in there, and that works good. I actually decided to put it behind it instead of on top here, which I think works way better. It gives us some 3-dimension. In the same spot on here. I hollowed this out so that I could actually, light will shine through there, and then we'll tape that off when I paint this, light block this. But light will shine through there real nice, and I even put a red bulb, because this one's going to have the red light up front, through there, and it worked great. And then we'll just, I thinned this one out too. And we'll goes this way. No. Yeah, it does go like that. I did do the wrong side. That's not good. I sanded the side I didn't want to sand. I don't think it's going to matter. I'll just hand sand it. I hit it with a Dremel. But the light's coming through that really nice too. So this I just got to leave out when I hit spray it black. I got to smooth this out though. Which really isn't a big deal. Because I sanded the wrong side. And I even said, I hope I didn't sand the wrong side. I should have sanded the outside of the curve instead of the inside of the curve. I'm always thinking of a windshield, I guess, because they bow outwards, where this kind of bows inwards. So. But it's not a big deal. It's going to get painted anyway. It's going to be silver. But I'll worry about that later. We'll sand that right. That's not a big deal. Like I said, it fits in there tight, and it's going to be painted anyway. Because inside the grills, it's going to be silver. So, and I think the silver should, you know, if lightly placed, should still show that color coming through. It's not very light blocking. But that'll finish those decks up. Besides putting these pieces on, which this one I'm saving because they're already chromed. Hi, Jack. And this one we'll paint silver. These parts I hit it with the bigger gaps with the bigger putty, especially around the torpedoes. I hit it with the actual Tamiya or the Testers contour putty, because it's a harder putty. It's good for flexing areas. It won't crack as easily. So if there was quite a good gap there, and definitely gaps here. more unlevelness than gaps. So, and then we'll sand all that, and I did that on both areas. That seemed to be the biggest seam areas. These seams are nice and tight. We just got to sand them, all those, and putty all that up. I think I'm going to pre-drill these holes prior, because once I sand that, I think the little window indents are going to be gone. And they're so faint. You might see them with paint, but they're so faint. They didn't put them on as good. They're even faint on here. So it's like I might have to go through and pre-drill some of these while I got it open, what ones I want to be lit. And kind of what they have, I like what's lit. I might light a couple of these up front, and maybe one or two down here, make them not the same. Because here they did the same. You know, 3 there, 3 there. I might do, you know, 1 of those or 2 of those, and, you know. Unfortunately, this one has it up here, but doesn't have them down here, so I got to figure a way of transferring, which I think I'm going to lay transfer tape on top of the decal, because it's see-through, and mark it, and then put them on here, and try to get them lined up similar to that. But that's going to be fun. That's a whole nother. But I did start the engines. What we're going to do is we're going to try to light through this plastic. If I grab these already sanded, I'm about to grab these anyway because I'm going to need them. But here they are still on their sprues on the other kit. This one's going to probably glow a nicer green because it's already molded in green. I wish this kit was molded in green, the older one, but that'll give a slight difference in the ships. But as you can see, there's these humps that are the opposite of the detail on this side. And I was thinking about just cutting this portion and leaving that center bar. I think that's what everybody else does. You can put a clear piece of plastic or even a round clear piece of sprue. If you get a piece of sprue like this, maybe a little bit thicker, and you can cut that out and then put it there, and that gives you your clear part. I think if I would do it that way, I would get a clear piece of flat styrene and lay it flat in there. But then you're dealing with, are you cut good on the, when you cut that out, are you cut nice and level and square? And then you also lose this detail unless you add it on later. These raised areas, the short ones there and the raised ones there. And you could add that with a piece of round styrene rod and then round these ends off and make it look like tubes, and you could glue them on the clear part that you put on there. But what I decided to do, because this is very transparent plastic and it's doing exactly what we normally don't want it to do, you shine light up through it and it glows through. And it does it at a pretty good shine light. So what I did is I took my Dremel. Some of them I wonder if I could thin even more. I want to get this right before I spray them black, because then what I'm going to do, now that I filed these and the light's coming through those areas quite bright, that one could be a little better. It's like you want to get them thin just before they, like I can almost see through that. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a piece of tape and just tape that off and then spray them black. and then the light will only shine through those areas. And I think I have a thing of tape that might give me the right width. Which one's going to be the winner? I don't think you. I think you're too thick. I think you would give the perfect line. Yep. And that's how I'll line it up, as I'll shine the light through and make sure it's blocking it in the area straight. Because you could be all weebly on here. But I think that'll give me the width that I want on that. So I'll tape that on the back, then spray these black, then peel that up, and it should just shine it exactly in those areas I want, which should be nice. Then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have almost like an LED strip taped onto itself, like kind of fold it over, so it's shining light that way and that way. And I'm hoping that it's thin enough. That's the other thing I need to try. See if it's thin enough to fit in between here. A piece of LED strip folded onto itself like that. You know, take it and just fold it. The two sticky sides, you know, back to back, boom. And then I believe I can get wire. Yeah, I got plenty of room to get wire up through there. No wire can come up through the pylon. And then we'll see how it enters. I think it's the bottom part of the hull that it'll enter. But that's what we're doing. These look good. I'm going to go with it. I'm going to have to do like a little light test to make sure it works. But I think I should do it with an LED strip. And also do a test to make sure it fits back there. Also do a test to see what color light. Will a warm white or a cool white be the way to go? Because I'm going to have to color them green. And I might even peel the tape and hit this, especially the gray kit, with a little green. It should transmit through that and hopefully put the color through it, kind of like this is going to go through green plastic. I won't really have to do that. It's going to glow green. And then I got to be mindful it's going to have another color of paint on this side too. But again, this, I believe in this part of the ship, it'll be the green, which I'm doing a light, you know, that real, almost this color of green. These are almost the shades of the ship, the gray plastic and the green. Almost the shades that it's supposed to be. But that's where I'm at. These are done. We'll tape up and, you know, I keep wanting to make sure I'm thin enough and it looks even enough. Like that one, I almost want to know if I should hit down here a little more. But this will show you what I did. I just took the Dremel and went like that. Just basically doing this. See if that fixed that. Oh yeah. That's better. Just trying to make sure the light glows through it evenly. And I'm starting to be able to see through that area there. But this areas here have that little bit of plastic detail, so it's, you got to make sure that's giving you the same brightness through. Yeah, they all seem to be doing pretty good in that respect. Just that one just needed a little more, and then I was just hitting them with 320. Just to smooth out any burrs, because those burrs will make a weird discoloring in the much better. Much better. So I just got to do the same to the Klingon ship. This is the Romulan ship. I also got to get on the horn with, because these ships are going together much faster than I thought. As far as man hours on them. It's been a couple days, you know. Merry Christmas, everyone, if I forgot. But it is Sunday, or no, it's Monday, the 27th. So a couple days after Christmas, but of course I didn't really get to work on it Friday because that was Christmas Eve and had a lot of running, and of course Christmas Day, and then Saturday was Christmas Day, and then Sunday was, I worked, you know, and did the other things, worked on this. But today we're going to get these engines, should be completely done, I would think, as far as what mods and getting this painted and the LEDs in there and hopefully working the way I want. I also want to drill 2 little holes there on both sides. We'll let those glow, you know, they're just going to have to glow green. I think the kit, art pictures on the kit show those yellow. We'll let them glow green like the engines. But we'll drill those little holes and either stick a fiber optic in them. I'm fearing we're just going to drill holes and just put window maker in them later. But I'd like to have those pieces there doing something, because I believe they're supposed to. I'll get some light on the outside, because the Katinga has the holes on the outside that light up. That was 2 there, and I think 2 up front on both sides of the nacelle. And then they also have the hole in the back. I don't know if I'm going to try to drill that hole in the back, because I tried on the looking at the part, it's not exact as to the Katinga. I might be able to, I don't know. Let me see the ends of the engines. Here they are. Yeah, I mean, I guess I could drill a hole in that nub. That nub kind of falls there, and it's almost a hard place to even drill because it's right on these edges. I was hoping there would be like a little tunnel slash indent, but there really isn't. So I might just leave those alone, but I think I'm gonna, on the most D7s, they're the light green. They're left like that, and to me, I don't like that. You can see the difference in the engines too from the older kit and the new. The detail there on the newer and not on the older. But I think the part was supposed to take most of that detail. Like that goes there. That'll be silver. But there's a silver part that goes on that, I believe, too. But that's cool because that's the difference in the ships. But I'm going to do these parts in the gun steel and the cap when that goes on. that's the way the Katinga is. It'll kind of pull the... it looks plasticky and weird if that's the same color to me. I know that's more canon, but to me that ties the Katinga into it. Having those done that way. And if they did it on the Katinga, they should be done on this one. In the Katinga you see more. So we're going to follow that one more. I should get these big spurs off too. These. Yeah, and then I'll have to notch these out for the engines to grab onto. Actually, it'd be that way. It's the other side, yeah, it'll be like that. I'm noticing they're not going to have that weird angle. Maybe. Thought these engines were supposed to have an angle to them, but we'll see. But that's where we're at. We're going to do the same to these as we did to those, and we can start light blocking it. So until then, I'll see you in a few. Okay, I got these all painted black. I taped them up. We're in a piece of tape on the inside here so I wouldn't light block that area. And I just got to peel those up. What else did I do? I just puttied all these seams on both of them, especially up here. I went and sanded the tester's contour putty, the stronger putty, because there was a pretty good gap here on one of them especially, but you know, there was quite a bit here that needed to get filled in. That wanted to make sure it was good and strong. Where the spot putty is good for smaller stuff and fine stuff and finishing, but if you got quite a gap, it can crack and crumble and be a mess. So you can use the contour putty just to get in the seam and then finish with the spot putty. And the spot putty sands so much easier, but it doesn't fill big gaps very well, especially if you have a seam that could flex. It'll end up cracking and crumbling. Looks like I could put a little more there. Maybe I'll give it a sanding and find out, but let's let them dry. But so both of those are all puttied up. And with the impulse decks, they're looking really good. Sanded all that. I even hit that with a light spray just to see how those would look, especially with all the puttying I had to go on back there. And I'm liking that. This one also I built the divider because we're going to do on this one, we're going to do the green, I think, in the front here, and I'm going to keep the impulse engine actually red. I'm going to stick with that, either red or blue, but let's stick with the red. I could do the blue to make it a little different. The only other impulse engine like that is the NX1. The blue look cool. That'd be different. This one's going to have the red and the red, so I didn't have to put a light blocking section there, divider, because if there's light bleed, it doesn't matter because it's going to be red impulse engine and red in the front here. And I taped that off before I sprayed it so that the light will still shine through that real nice. Yeah, and then did just a mist just to see how this would look in the back, and that back looks really good too. So both of them are real nice. I'm really glad I did that, to be honest. I wasn't going to do any impulse in here, but it needed something. It needed something. And if I was end up doing here, why not? Do that. Hopefully it all works out. This one I have confidence because I still got to glue that piece in there, and I could always do it clear. Or even tape the back and pour a window maker in from this side. It'll level down in and then pull it off. And then mist it with a little. Well, eventually it should get a silver on it. But we'll see. We'll see how this works. These joints feel really good. Even though how bad, you can see how big the gaps. See how much red's in there. But there was a lot back here with all these seams and the seam in there. But I'm happy with it. Looking at both, I'm really happy with them. See a little bit of a seam there and there. I hit that with a little red. You don't notice it until you hit it with something. So it doesn't need much. But so let's see how these are going to look. Oh yeah. That's going to kind of look cool. This is the more greenish one. There's a little bleed through. You don't really see it there. I'm going to leave it alone because it really doesn't. Yeah. That'll add just like a glow kind of effect around it. Wow. I'm really happy how well that's glowing through. It just needs to be an effect. But that's it. That's basically what I did. Just tape those off. And now the light, you can actually even see it right there. But worked good. Let's keep going. I'm going to let stuff dry. I just want to check this out. What's going on here? I just want to see how this worked. And I can always go in there and hit those with a little bit of black to keep it from creeping so far up into the, because this one is going a little too far. See, I can just go in there and just hit it with my brush. But all in all, I was pretty much in the end under the feeling of I can always cut back with some black. Having to scrape paint off would be a pain. So that's why I didn't mind if I went a little long. Yeah, they're glowing so much. You can see how they're glowing. Yeah, even there I'll have to touch just that little area right there. But all in all, that's great. So I figured a way, and I'm sure I'm not the first person that's thought about that. Because this trick's used on like the refit and the A. This trick is used to simulate on the nacelles towards the back, like there's a spotlight shining up where it says NCC 1701, right where the back fin is in the very back of the nacelle on each side. In the movie, it looks like spotlights are hitting it, because they probably did. But I think they even used, to simulate that, which I did it too, but didn't come out as well as I wanted it to. But next time I know how to make it better, because it was a last second kind of idea. Is they do this, they tape off a section, and then airbrush around that. And at first you can just tape off a section, make it bigger than it needs to be, and then you just go back with an airbrush and lightly mist it, because you want it to kind of blend in soft. So you want it to kind of mist and then go into the dark solid paint. So it gives it that light going around a curve look. And then when you have a light on the inside shining against it, it blades through even the color, even the hull color, white, and the Aztecing and everything. And it looks like and if you shape it right, it looks like a spotlight hitting it. People do that on the top of the Enterprise to get that, spotlight look. I'd rather hit it with a natural spotlight. But instead of cutting all that out, putting a clear piece of plastic, which I was thinking, a round sprue, and then putting this detail back on, just didn't make sense. That's a lot of work for just tape it off. Now, like I said, this one's probably going to be nicer because it's already molded in a green, and it's going to get sprayed a green. So, did I do all those already? Oh, wow. Nice. Oop, Butterfingers. Let's keep trucking. And it worked out that this tape was already the right width. It could have been just a hair wider, but I still think the gray, it's going to show that green really good. So, And I did drill the holes in every engine, or every nacelle. So that'll glow green too, hopefully. Even if it's just a little. I don't know if I want to put a fiber optic and stick it in there. Or if I just rub some window maker in there. I think window maker will be just fine. I could try both. That's not a big deal. I could try both. I'm not expecting those to be really bright. Without the nacelle grills here glowing, that's all you see in like the artist renditions on the box, especially the older 91 kit, which is the gray kit. They show those yellow. And I thought about just, that's all I was going to do, is just run fiber optics down here to each, 4 of them to each nacelle. But then I'm like, if I'm doing that, why not light the whole thing? I can run it up. But it should be shining some back there. But it's going to be nice. It's going to be nice. It's worked out good. So happy. But we still have tests. Still bridges the climb. First to find what color LED to go with. Whether it's the warm white or the white, cool white. See which one transmits through better. I'm thinking it's going to be the cool white. Because the warm white won't want to yellow it too much. And I'm going to have to, I don't have a green LED strip. So I'm going to have to just paint them with green. It's not a big deal. But again, like I said, they're just going to be one strip, whether I can just take one strip and fold it on the sticky side together so the lights are all on the outside, sandwich it in between here. Or, you know, 2 of them stuck together, however you want to look at it, sandwiched. But if I can just bend one and not have to do a solder joint, except for where I give it power, that would be great. And it should be able to do that at one of those like cut areas. You should be able to flex it. I don't have to pinch it too hard, hopefully. Especially in here where it gets a little thicker, I can have that bend. And have the power coming here, notch, and the wire going up. But yeah, that's where we're at. I'm gonna let them dry before I sand all that. I'm not sure when I want to drill more of those holes. I just said screw it, and if I lose all those little markings on this one in particular, because it has them all over, I noticed that the decals are not so accurate. So this one's going to come with, I'm going to order new. Or, no, this one I'm going to order new. This one, I'm going to use what I have. So, yep. And we'll drill those holes tools for all the rest and clean all this up. Tape these so I can start painting. I need to get probably a little putty in those corners. Because I want that to look good. But it's getting there. I was almost thinking I should build the Klingon battle cruiser. The Katinga one that's the same size. There's a little bit of size difference, mainly in the nacelles. The nacelles and the Katinga are like this. So they must have upgraded those. And made them bigger. I mean, but the body, when I put the bodies on top of each other, it's just a hair difference in size, not much. I haven't seen, I think all this part is bigger. But it's interesting that it is that way. Because I think they're supposed to be about the same same scale. The kit is, I'm not sure. But that's where we're at. Tomorrow when we come back, we'll start working on the power. The lighting for these. Because we're going to be ready to put them pieces on the top. And get those glued down. Get the lights in these too. Get that piece glued in. Yeah, get the lights put in both. It's going to be 4 of them. I think I'm going to do 2 large on this one. It will be the 2 large red, and then two 5mm reds and 2 3mm reds back here. And like I said, since they're all red all the way around, I don't need to worry about bleed. But this one's going to have 2 red, 3mm red, or I'm not sure if I'm going to go blue now to give it something different. Because it is a Romulan ship, and they'd be messing with that, you know, how the Warbird had a singular, whatever. They're running off a singularity. And I think they were even talking about that in Enterprise, so that would be before these ships. So if they took a Klingon ship, and they would change the engines. And that's why I'm having this one glow green up front instead of red. But still not sure if I go with red. Do I do my pulsing? I'd like to use my pulsing LEDs. Maybe not any small ones, but I know I'll need 2 for... I can always order more. Not sure how many pulsing. Oh, I got a lot. Do I just do 1? That would look quite 60s if it's just glowing kind of off center, like or in the center, especially with their budget at that time. Yeah, I don't know, but that would be nice to do a pulsing light in there. If I sand this and diffuse it by scuffing it up, let's see if I can get it wider. And then I think I'm gonna put some fiber fill in there that kind of absorbs the light and glows it. Makes it glow more too. I think that'll work. Maybe I will do that. And then I gotta paint this what color I want it. But having that flicker would be kind of cool. That one's flickering. Green or blue? Or no, blue or red, I would think. Blue would be kind of cool. Well, we'll give that a wrap. I'm getting tired and it's the end of the day, and we'll get started tomorrow on those things. Talk to you soon. Bye.